Hi everyone, welcome to the Bioinformatics Coach channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install and set up Singularity on a Linux system. So I am using an Ubuntu system, so I'm going to install on this system. For the most part, the steps I'm going to use can be applied to other Linux distros with little or no modification. So just stay tuned. Now, for beginners, it's important to know what Singularity is. So Singularity is a software. It allows you to create what we call containers. These containers typically comprise of software that have been pieced together. Okay, so it enables you to create an environment that is portable and reproducible. All right, so what happens is if you have all these software pieced together, you can transfer or migrate all these software as a single entity to another platform and then reuse them. Okay, so that's where the portability and the reproducibility comes in. Okay, sometimes you may want to use specific versions of a software, or let's say specific versions of some software. All right, and so if you put all of them in a container using Singularity, then you can now port that environment, that single container, to another environment and then use that. All right, so typically we use this a lot on HPC platforms. Okay, so let's get started. So let's start from here. I'm using an Ubuntu system, so I'm going to follow the instructions on this page. I'll leave the link to this page in the description box, as well as the link to this intro here. Okay, so on this page, when you scroll down a bit, it tells you quick installation steps. We have that here. Okay, now with Singularity, you need to install dependencies. That's the first thing to do, and that is what this lets us know. Okay, for the dependencies, we have these Ubuntu packages, and we also need to install Go programming language. Okay, which I'll show. The steps are even here. Okay, so you get your Ubuntu packages, you install Go, download Singularity CE. I think this is the latest version, and then you compile from source. That's what we are basically going to do. So we are going to follow the instructions here. So let's start with the Ubuntu packages here. So we have to use this command here to do the installation. So I'll first open my terminal. That's what I'm going to do first, and I'm going to install the packages. All right. So this is my Ubuntu system. I'll just clear the screen for us to see. Okay, now let's get back to the documentation. So here I'll need to first update Ubuntu. So there's the command I'm going to use. You can copy and paste. You can also type it. All right. So, and you also need a sudo, right? That's what we have here. Okay, you need to have a sudo, right? That means you need to have an admin access, or let's say a root access. It's important because these packages, you need that access. Okay, now let's first paste the first command, which is this one. You can also copy and paste. All right, so I'll just enter it, and I'll need to make sure I enter my password correctly. And then once I do that, it will start updating. So we have to wait for Ubuntu to update, and then we can proceed with the next step. All right, update has been done. So we need to now get to this side. We need to look at the next activities, which is here. So let's just copy and paste. This is very long, but we can just copy and paste it. That's fine. And then run it. All right. So I'll paste everything here like this. You should also paste. You will get something like this, which is fine. And then you just have to run it. Okay, so let's run this command. So this will install the packages. Okay, the additional packages which we need, the dependencies which we need in order to install Singularity. So let's wait for all these packages to get installed. All right, so the dependencies have been installed. So let's clear the screen and continue. Now let's go back to the documentation. All right, so we are back to documentation. We are done with this stage. So let's scroll down and move to the other step. So the next step is to install the Go programming language. All right. So on this page, just click it and you'll be sent to another section. All right. So we have the instructions here. Now here, instead of using this one, I'll use a different approach to install the Go programming language. All right. So this is the approach I'm going to use. I'll first go to the downloads page. All right. And then get the Go binaries and then set it up. All right. So I have opened it in my new tab, which is here. So I'll go there to download the binaries. Now, in case this link does not work, just open a new tab and then search for Go programming language download. So I'll go to a new tab and I'll just type Go programming language download. I'll just search for it. I can also search for it here. I'll just say Go programming language download. All right, so this will send you to the page. So let's click here. And by the way, I'll leave this link also in the description box. Okay, the download link, okay, for Go. So you don't need to type all these things yourself. Okay, so let's go to the page, which is here. Okay, so this page is a page for Go. I think this one is also opened. Whichever one is fine. Okay, all that I want to do is to make sure we are on this page. Okay, that's what is important. Okay, now we also need to look at something here. When you go to the Go programming language page, there are several versions. We need to get a version which is compatible with the Singularity version we are going to install. So let's first go to Singularity. Okay, which is this page. I'll leave the link to this page also in the description box. Let's come here and then let's go to the releases. Okay, here I'm going to use the latest release. So on the GitHub page on the right side, I repeat, the link to this page is also in the description box. So on the right side, come to releases, you see Singularity C. As at the time of making this video, it was Singularity C 4.2.2. So I'll click it. And when I click it, I'll be sent to this page. Okay, so when I come here, what we need to do is to look out for the Go language version which was used. Okay, sometimes it's indicated. Okay, so here on this page here, when you scroll down a bit, okay, below the downloads, it tells you these packages were built with Go 1.23.4. okay, so we are going to install Go 1.23.4. That is what we are going to install. All right. So let's go back to the Go page, which is here, and then get 1.23.4. So on this page, what we need to do is to just scroll down. Of course, we have the Linux version. It is the latest, but we want Linux 1.23.4. So here we need to scroll down. Okay, these are all versions, so we need to scroll down. Now when you scroll down, you may not see 1.23.4, and so what we need to do is to come to the archived versions. Okay, the archived versions, and then click on show. So click show, and when you click on show, it will show the older releases. We want 1.23.4, which is this one. So click it, and when you click it, you will see the versions here. Now here we have several versions for different platforms, so it's important to know which platform you are using. Then you will download the appropriate tarball. It's very, very important. You need to make sure you do this. All right, so in my situation, this is what I'm going to use. I'm using an AMD 64 Linux, so I will scroll down and select that one. This one here, this is what I'm going to use. All right, so I'll come back to this. So let's do this. Let's go back to the terminal. We will come back to download this. We are going to the terminal to do some preparation, and then we will come back. So let's go to the terminal. Okay, I'll just do this first. Okay, now what we need to do is to make sure we know where we are going to install go to. It's important. All right. So at this point in time, you need to know where you are saving it to. So to make it simple, we are going to do all the installations and place them in our home directory. That's important so that our beginners can still follow. All right. But you are free to choose wherever you want to install them. It's fine. Okay. Now let's do this. On the terminal, let's still make sure that we are in the home directory. So I'll do a cd first to make sure I'm in my home directory. It's very, very important. All right. And I'll say make dir apps. Okay. So this app directory is where I'm going to install all my software apps. All right. So make dir apps. That's what I'm going to do first. And then what I'll do is to now come back to the Go page and I'll download the appropriate version. So here, mine is this one here. So I'll right click and then go to copy link. Now you can also click to download. That is fine. You can click it to download, but I want to download using the terminal. So I'll just get a download link. That's what I got. So copy link. That's what I'll get. Now I'll come back here to the terminal. I'll do it this way rather. I'll come back to the terminal and I'll use wget and I'll paste the link there and I'll run it. So let's run it to download the Go programming language. It's a small file, so it doesn't take long to download. Okay, so I have it downloaded. All right. So we have this notification, it says this saved. Now, if you want to check it, let's first clear the screen. I'll do Ctrl L. I'll say ls. Now, when I do ls, I should see the file here. So I should see the apps directory which I created. All right. Now, after getting this, I'll need to decompress it. It's a tarball, so I'll need to decompress. So I'll say tar xvfz. And I'll specify the file. All right, I'm going to run this command first. And after running, it's going to be decompressed for me. All right, so let's just wait for it to get decompressed. It's done. So I'll just clear the screen and do an ls. Now, when I do an ls, I'm going to see a directory called go. Okay, ls into that go. And we are going to see all this here. Okay, so once you see this, that means that you have successfully downloaded the Go programming language. All right. Now, what we are going to do next is to move the Go language to the apps directory. So what I'm going to do is to say mv go and I'll specify apps. I am moving it to apps. All right, that's what I'm going to do. Now I have moved it there. All right, so it's there. So what I'm going to do is to do some additional configuration. Okay, we are also going to test Go. All right, now what we need to do is to test Go to make sure it's working. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. I am first going to ls into apps to make sure I have a directory, and I'll ls into apps/go to see this. I'll also do ls apps go/bin to see this. All right. I also say ls apps/go/lib. All right, to see what we have here. All right. Okay, so just to make sure we have everything we need. Okay. Now let's clear the screen and then continue. Perfect. Now I'm going to run Go. All right. So I'll ls into apps/go/bin to see my Go executable. So I'll just say apps/go/bin/go. If you do it this way, let's run it. We are going to see something like this coming up. All right, that's what we are going to see. All right. Now let's try another thing. I'll just say app/go/bin/go, and I'll say version. I'll type this. This will give me the version of Go. Perfect. I have this done. Okay. So this is the first step we need. Now, with what we have, we always have to specify the absolute path to the Go binary. Okay. Now, this can be problematic. So to make it easy, what we want to do is to first configure our system so that we can have this. We can just type Go and then run it. Okay. At the moment when we type Go, okay, this is what is going to come. Okay, so what we are going to do is to set up our system so that when we type Go, we will get the same output as when we type the absolute path. Okay, so let's do this. First of all, we need to get the absolute path for Go. So in Linux, what we can do is simple. We can just use the real path. Okay, so I just say real path apps/go/bin/go. Okay, this will give me the absolute path. All right, like this. So I need this information. Now, for those who are beginners, you can also try something else. You can cd to the directory itself. Okay, you can say cd apps/go/bin, and then you can type pwd. So this will also give you the absolute path. Okay, so this is what we need. Okay, it's the same as this. Okay, so we need this. This is what we need. Okay, so home coach apps go/bin. That's what we need. So what I want you to do is to copy this, and take note that yours is likely to be different from here up to here. Yours is likely to be different, so just make sure that what you see is what you copy. It should be up to the /bin. So copy everything. Okay, copy everything, and now cd back to your home directory. So just type cd, go back, and when we are here, what we are going to do is to add this information to our .bashrc file. Okay, so the .bashrc file contains information that are executed when we open the shell. Okay, so we want to make some things available. So first of all, I'll do a backup of the .bashrc file. I'll say cp.bashrc, and I'll say bashrc.back. bashrc.back. There's a backup. Okay, it's a backup. What we are actually interested in is the .bashrc. All right. Now let's open the .bashrc. So I'll just say nano.bashrc like this. I'll open it, and when I open it, I'm going to see something like this. What I want you to do is to scroll down to the very bottom, okay, and then just add some new lines here. Just hit the enter to add some new lines. All right, and then type this command. Make sure you watch what I'm doing. Say export path equals $path colon, and then paste the path we copied, this one, /home/coach/app/go/bin, this one here. This is what I want to do. I want you to copy this and paste it in. So you should get something like this. That's what you should get. Now type Ctrl X, or let's say hit Ctrl X, save the changes. And now I want you to just open a new tab, a new command line, and then type go and run it. Now if you run it, you should see something like this coming up. That means that Go has been successfully configured. This is what you should see. All right, I'll just do it again. Go, now say version. It has been given to me. Okay, so once you have this, that means that Go has been successfully installed. So we are good to go. We are on track. Now that we have Go installed, we now need to go and then check Singularity. We now have to compile from source. So that's the next stage. All right. So I'll just clear the screen. All right. And I'll just cd to home directory just to make sure. Okay. I'll just do a cd again just to make sure that I'm in the home directory. Now I'll go to the browser and then go to the GitHub page for Singularity where we went. This page. The link to this page is in the description box. I repeat, the link to this page is in the description box. If you are not sure, just go to the Singularity C page and then come to releases, this side here. Click it. All right. I repeat, the link to this repo and this download page is in the description box. Now, when you are here, what I want you to do is to scroll down. All right. Scroll down to the downloads. Now, when you go to downloads, you see source code. You will see source code. So this is what we need. This file is what we need. Take notes. You may see things like this here. Please ignore all this. We don't need any of them. What we actually need is this one here, where it says download source code. Please use the Singularity. Yeah, this one here. Download below. Yeah. So this is what we need. So what I'll do is to copy the download link. I'll right click and then copy the link. You can also click to download, that's fine, but I'll copy. So right click and then copy the link. And I'll download on my terminal. So I'll go back to my terminal and I'll download it. All right. So I'll use wget and I'll paste the link which is here. And I'll hit enter. So this will download it for me. So there's also a tarball, meaning that it has been compressed. So I'll just have to wait for Ubuntu to download the Singularity tarball for me. So this is what is happening. It's been done. Perfect. It's done now. We can see it here. Now I'll clear the screen and I'll say ls. So when I see ls, I should see this file here. This contains what we need. So I'll need to decompress it, or let's say extract the content. So again, I'll say tar xbnfz. I'll specify the file like this. This is how it's going to be. I'll specify it like this, and then I'm going to run. So this will extract everything for me. It's also a small file, so it will take just a few seconds. Perfect. Now it's done. So I'll clear the screen and do an ls. Now when I do an ls, I'm going to see a directory called Singularity C 4.2.2. Okay, this is what I'm going to see. All right. Now, before we cd into it, let's do this. We are going to create a directory into the apps and then install. Okay, here I'm showing you how to do a customized installation. All right. So let's create a directory called make_dir apps/singularity. Okay, that's what we have done. Okay, now if you are not sure, you can simply just say make_dir $home/singularity. This will, yeah, /home/apps/singularity. Okay, this is the same as this. This is the same as this. Okay, so this is what you have to do. All right, so just make sure you create it. Now when you create it, what we want is the absolute path for this directory. What we want is the absolute path. So what I want you to do is to say rel path apps/singularity. Type this command rel path apps/singularity. Type it, hit enter, and we are going to get this path. We need this information for the next step. We need this information. All right. So once you have this, which is very important, make sure to keep it. You will need it. All right. Now I want you to cd into the Singularity directory, the one we extracted, this directory. So do cd Singularity and you are in. All right. Now after getting in, do ls, and you are going to see some files here, okay, which is fine. Now we are almost there. All right. Now we need to execute some commands first to install and set up Singularity. So let's get back Singularity. Okay, so we have some commands here that we are going to use. Now we are going to use a slightly modified version of this command. A slightly modified version of this command. Okay, so take note of that. Now let's get back to the terminal. And then let's proceed. So when you are here, what I want you to do is to make sure you remember the path you had, this one, the one for the Singularity directory. So now I'm going to type /m config, and then I'll add this option. I'll say -- without -suid. I am adding this option because I want to be able to run Singularity without using sudo. All right, so if I do this, I just type Singularity, add my options, and then I'm gone. Okay, so without this option, you always have to use sudo to run Singularity. So I want to avoid that. That's why I'm using this. Okay, now space, and I'll add the path. Okay, what I copied. Okay, this one here. So this is where the installation files will be saved. All right, I repeat, this is where the installation files will be saved or stored. Okay, so I'm going to add that. So I'll say --prefix equals, and I'll say /home/coach/apps/singularity. Okay, so this is going to be the command which I'll execute. All right, so let's execute this command. All right, now after executing it, this is what I have. So it even tells me some things are ready, I should try. That's fine. So once I have this, if you look at it, the next command is to use this. So I'm going to use that command. So I'll just clear the screen. Let's do this first. And then I'm going to issue the command. So I will just say make -C build dir, this command. So let's run it. Now when you run it, that's what you are going to see. You are going to see something like this. Okay, so this tells you that some packages are still not found, okay, on your system, and that's fine. So some of you may have it installed, some of you may not have it installed. So if you see something like this, then what you need to do is to now issue this command first. All right, so I will say sudo apt install make. Please take notes, some of you may already have it installed. If you don't have it installed, this will come up, and if this comes up, then you have to install it. All right, so let's install this. Again, I'll enter my password. Okay, so this will tell me to install this. Okay. Perfect. It's ongoing, so we just have to wait for everything to get done. Perfect. That has been done. All right, so we have that other dependency sorted out. Now let's clear the screen and let's reissue the make command. And so I'm going to say make minus uppercase C build dir. So I'm going to run this command. Perfect. So once I run it, I'm going to see something like this coming up. All right. So all that we have to do is to wait for this stage to also get done, and then we can proceed. And so here, for those who already had the make tool installed, once you have it this way, it will just go straight to this point. Okay. For those who don't have it, you just have to install the make tool as we did, and then you'll be fine. So let's wait for everything to get done for us. All right. The second step has also been done. So we have to look at the third step, which is the last step. So let's go back to the documentation. So the next step is to issue this command. All right. In our case, we will ignore the sudo and use just this one. So that is what we are going to do next. So let's minimize this. Let's go back to the terminal and then let's proceed. So I'll clear the screen and I'll say make minus C uppercase, and I'll say build dir install. So let's execute this command. So this is going to be the final command to install Singularity. Perfect. Everything is going on smooth. Fine. Now that is also done. So let's clear the screen. Let's do an ls, and then let's do this. Let's cd back to the home directory. So I'll just say cd back to my home directory because I'm done here. I'll clear the screen again. I'll do an ls. All right. Now the installation we did will be here. So I'll say ls apps, and I'm going to say Singularity. I'll say ls apps / Singularity, and I'm going to see some directories here. And I also say ls apps / Singularity / bin to see my Singularity executable here. I also say ls apps / Singularity / lib excs. Okay, lib exec. Also, I'm going to see some directory here. Okay, so this is good. We are almost there. So let's move on to the next step. The next step is to test Singularity itself. We will do some few things here, but first let's test. So to test, I'll say apps / Singularity / bin / Singularity. I'll run this. Perfect. If we run it, we are going to see something like this. Let's clear the screen. Let's record the command again. This time, let's add version. Let's run this. And it's going to give us the version, which is 4.2.2. Okay, so this is good. Now, with the settings we had, okay, the settings we have now, we always have to specify absolute path, just like with the Go programming language. So we are going to configure our system so that we can just type Singularity, and then this will be done for us. At the moment, if you type Singularity, we are going to get something like this. So we are going to set our system. We are going to add Singularity to our path so that we can call just the name here and then do whatever we want to do. So that's what we are going to do next. All right. So first of all, let's do this. Let's get the path to the Singularity directory. Okay, the directory where we install Singularity. Now, if you do ls, it's in apps. Okay, ls apps, you will see Singularity. So what I want you to do is to get the path for Singularity. So I'll just say cd apps / Singularity. Okay, I need this, and I'll just say pwd. Now I will need this path, this information here. I need it. Okay, and I'm going to add some additional information to it. All right. So first of all, I want you to copy this path. Whatever you see, copy it, just like we did with the Go programming language. So copy what you have here, Okay, now let's do a cd back to our home directory. Cd to your home directory. Now what we are going to do is to add some information to our environment. We are going to create environmental variables. We already have it. We are going to add. We are adding a singularity to our path. So I will say nano.bashrc. I'll open it and I'll scroll down just like we did with the Go programming language. I'll scroll down, and when I come here, there are two things I'm going to do here, so just take note of it. I'll start with the path. So I'll say export path equals $path, and then I'll paste the Singularity directory I copied. Okay, the path I copied, and I'll add /bin to it. I'll add /bin. It's very, very important. I need this information. Okay. So the path you had in Singularity is /bin. Now in the next line, I'm going to say export ld library path equals. Okay. And then that's what I'm going to do. I'll say $ld library path, or uppercase. I'll say colon. I'll paste the path again, and I'll say /lib ex, this time lowercase, lib exec. Okay. So export path $path Singularity bin, export ld library path $ld library path Singularity lib exec. Okay. Now let's exit and then let's save changes. Let's save changes. Now I want you to open a new tab. So let's open a new tab. Perfect. Open a new tab and type Singularity. Perfect. So now you see what we have here. It's already done. Okay. You can also say Singularity version. Perfect. That's also done. So now that is done. Okay. So this is how we install Singularity. Now there's another thing we need to add, which is a dependency you will need. And so it's important to also add that path. Okay, that's information. And so we are going to add a new package which we are going to install. So I'll say sudo apt get install, and it's called uid map. Now this package is needed if you want to build your container managed images. I repeat, this package is important. Okay, it's required when you want to build containers using Singularity. So that's why we need to also install this. Okay, so let's execute this command. Again, let's enter our password, and then let's get it installed. Okay, so here it tells us that it's already installed, so that means everything is fine. Okay, so we can proceed. So once you have this, that means Singularity is installed, and so you can build your container images. Okay, so now that you have successfully installed Singularity, then check this video here to learn how to use Singularity to install bioinformatics tools and build containers.